Hey guys, Tom here for the Velocity YouTube channel, back in the showroom again today. We have this really cool truck. It's a K10. Now before we get started, quick pop quiz. In the title of this video there should be a word that describes the color of this. Do you know how to pronounce it correctly? Because for sure we didn't until we researched it. Second thing is, if you do know how to pronounce it correctly, do you know where it's from, what it means? Answers below, put it in the comments. Quick pop quiz, and then we're gonna get into it. We're gonna do a video and walk all the way around this thing so you can see all the details on it today. Okay, so the answer to the pop quiz, the way you say that word below is Seychelles. Seychelles, as in like say and then shells on a beach. And it's actually an island country in the Indian Ocean, well, group of islands anyway. Pretty cool. It looks really good in this paint color. So Seychelles Blue is this color. A really nice blue. It's pretty subtle in its depth. It doesn't have a super aggressive metallic fleck, but it is a metallic paint. Sometimes when you see metallic paints, when the light hits them here in the showroom or out in the sun, they really sparkle, and you'll have heard me talk about that before with like a super deep fleck. This one does not have a super deep fleck. So it is metallic, but it's very subtle, really subtle. You have to get really up close to it to see the flake inside it, but it's beautiful. It is a kind of medium to darker blue, of course contrasts very well with the white. This is an ice white insert here that we do on all of our Chevy trucks. It just looks really fantastic. I think it probably looks a little more modern than some of the other Chevy colors that we do. Mac, if you just point to that K5 there, that's a good example of Hugger Orange. In fact, there's another Hugger Orange K10 somewhere in here. Most of the Chevy trucks that we've done have tended to be either black, we've done a couple of all black trucks, or more classic Chevrolet colors. So this is one of the rarer ones that we've done where it isn't like a standard original Chevy color. Anyway, it looks absolutely ace. And before I go too far, this one is available for sale. So if you're watching on the website, unless it already is marked as sold, this one is one of the rare K10s that we have available for sale immediately. Let's go around the front of the truck real quick. And if you've watched these videos before, you'll know any Chevrolet of this era with Velocity has this front end. There are a couple of different front ends that you can get that Chevy did offer across the different years. Really, I'm talking primarily, of course, about the grille and the grille insert, but this is the one that we use for 9 out of 10 of our trucks. It looks great. I call it the cheese grater grille. It's all finished in chrome, and of course you've got the Chevy blue ribbon in the middle there too. Lower chrome bumper as well. You do have white insert just under here. Don't know if this would be called the sail panel, this lower area here, but basically that does wrap all the way around the side of the vehicle and then in the front of the vehicle as well. Of course, you've got big orange reflectors and the little detail of the Velocity Flying V as well. In terms of the technology here, you do have LED headlights. These look like an old school halogen lamp, but they're not. They're a Holley Retro Bright product, so it's an LED lamp made to look old school. So super high lumen level, very bright, but in that kind of old school package, which is really cool. Come down the side of the vehicle then, and this is a good time to talk about what series level this truck is. So this is a Heritage Series level. You get some extra benefits. One of those benefits is the two-tone paint that we touched on earlier in the video, but also you get all of these extra elements like the trim and the billet components. So let's go through them together. The first thing is the trim. When you go to a Heritage, you have the two-tone paint. There's a couple different options that you can do with two-tone paint. This is the most popular one. It's what we call the split middle trim, or split coloring, and basically it adds these two trim areas here between the splits of the color. The lower one, of course, having this lovely wooden insert, and that carries on actually inside the vehicle as well in the interior and all the way the back of the tailgate too. So you've got all of that lovely detail there. Other options that you get when you go to Heritage are going to be billet components. So billet side mirrors, billet door handles, all of these things are made by our team here at Velocity on our 5-axis CNC machine. So we do all of that in-house. Again, multiple elements of those in the interior as well. When you go to a Heritage Series, you also get a couple extra choices of wheel. We have a multi-spoked billet version, and then we have these. These are like a deep dished, they're called a USMags Scottsdale wheel, but deep dish wheel, very classic looking. My personal preference for trucks like this. Now, if you were to buy one, or buy this one, you could change it. We could change it for the other option. And I think by the time this video goes out, the K10 configurator should be live on the website, so go check that out. We'll try and put a link in the description as well, or go on the website, you can find it, but you'll be able to build your own. Keep coming down the back of the vehicle then, and of course it's a K10, so it is a full bedded vehicle, very usable, very versatile. You'll notice that there is no fuel tank or fuel filler neck here on the outside of the truck. We'll talk about that when we get to the back of the vehicle. Coming around the side of the vehicle then to the tailgate area, and like I mentioned, I think my favorite thing at the back here is going to be that wooden inlay on these trucks. I just think it looks great. It wraps all the way around the vehicle and then of course goes onto the tailgate like you can see here. Chevrolet lettering is on full display. You do have the Velocity build badge, matching lower chrome bumper as well. So that matches up the front. You're going to notice again this ice white color coming in. All of this stuff stays consistent throughout the side of the vehicle. Now let's talk about technology really quickly. You do have for your turn signals, for your indicators, you do have LEDs as well, same with your brake lights. So all of this behind there is all new construction. That assembly is all new. And again, because it's heritage, you get billet components, you get this full tailgate handle. This is integrated with the backup camera as well. That's part of the options. One of the options that you get when you go to heritage, no cost, is the backup camera. Really, really cool. It's just integrated very cleanly in there. Let's drop the tailgate down now so you can see the back of the truck. And you're going to notice that this bed has not been finished in the same Seychelles Blue as the rest of the truck, and that's because this is Raptor line. So what the guys do is they take Raptor, which is basically a hard-wearing truck bed liner, they tint it to get as close as possible as a color match, but of course because this is a metallic and this is like a it's almost like a matte finish, it's a textured finish, it's very hard to get an exact match, but I think the guys did a really good job. Looks really cool. Final thing to note, of course, like I mentioned a second ago, is there is no visible gas cap on the side of the vehicle. That's because it's been moved into the bed. So it's just at the back here on the left. That's where you're going to fill your gas tank up. Next up, we are going to go and look at the interior of this vehicle. And I have to say, I love these K10s. I love this color. But my favorite part of this truck is definitely this interior. Check this out. I just feel like you kind of almost transform from outside, yes, modernized, but rugged truck into what looks like a really nice, almost like a upmarket living room, very luxury, very comfortable place to be. And I think a lot of that is to do with the materials we've used. So let's start by talking about the key material here, which is this leather. This is a dark, sort of middle to dark brown, distressed leather. And what that means is this texture here in the leather. You sometimes get leathers that are like really smooth and they don't have any texture in them at all, any pattern, and you get leathers like this that are distressed, and they look like this. On the outside of the truck, we mentioned the wood grain, you have that here too. So that's the second material here in this door panel, so wood grain inside. Because it's a heritage series, I mentioned billet components earlier, billet door handle release and your window regulator, but of course they are electronic, they're not manual winders anymore. Final thing to notice here is the Velocity / Focal speaker panel. There is a speaker behind that in the door panel as well. Going to get in the truck now and talk you through the rest of this side of the vehicle. Getting in the truck is easy. These K10s are tall, so we do have a powered side step like on all of our 4x4 vehicles. They're actuated on a little pin in the door, and when you push the pin, when the door's shut, they go up. And when you open the door again, they come down, which just makes it super easy to get in this truck. Bench seat in this one is very comfortable. There are no headrests, but I do feel like I've got a lot of upper shoulder support. This bench can actually slide forward and back, and the backrest does have some tilt adjustability as well. Have a tilt steering column as well, so that helps with adjustability too. Now, on this steering column is an absolutely gorgeous Spark Industries billet steering wheel. This thing is immaculate. You'll have seen them on the other Heritage Series products that we make. They're just insane. All billet construction, then leather wrapped, and especially love the fact that we've got this distressed leather. It just immediately greets you. You've got a matching stitch here too, which we'll talk about a second when we come on the other side of the vehicle, but it just looks great. This thing's a work of art. It's like a piece of jewelry. Now, we already talked about the wood a couple of times. The wood continues here on the dash panel in the instrument cluster surround. All of this has been wood, and behind that is a Dakota digital dash. So a full electronic instrument cluster. It is brand new, it looks original, all of the holes and the areas are all original, but of course it is all modern. Final thing to notice on this side is going to be the light pull. So there's no lever or thumb switch or anything like that. It is a pull it out and the lights come on, push it in and they go off. Now, one thing, and we actually had a customer ask this recently, is do the lights come on and off automatically too? And they actually do. So all Velocity vehicles have automatic lighting. This is just for if you want to force them to come on versus just go on and off with the daylight. Now that you're on the other side of the truck, let's take a closer look at this bench seat. I mentioned the adjustability earlier. Now let's actually talk about the design. First thing I want to talk about is this stitch pattern. This is another thing that would normally be an upgrade that you get for free when you go to the Heritage Series. This is our plaid stitch pattern. Basically, it's an upgrade to our double diamond, and you can play again with those on the configurator, but basically it's just a more premium version of that. It adds this extra cushioning, this kind of design and depth, makes these seats more comfortable, and again, they do just look very, very premium. Now, let's look down, because on this truck, one of my favorite things, I know it's boring, but is the carpet. I just think the brown carpet in this has been done really, really elegantly. Now, it's not just the color, and I think the guys have picked a brilliant color. It's actually the fitment of it. You'll see that there is not a stone unturned here. All of the seams, everything comes together really nicely, and this because it's a custom carpet, German square weave. It's not just a drop-in carpet that's been bought online. It has been made by hand here by our trim shop team, so it just looks excellent. You do actually have carpets, removable carpets there too. These are rubber backed, they're basically mats, so you can take those out and wash them and vacuum them off if you want to, then put them back in, which is nice. Now let's come on to the center area. We'll start with what's over the transmission tunnel. This is actually a 10-speed automatic, and we'll talk about that more later in the video, but sometimes people see these levers and they think, is it actually a manual? No, to change gear, you're going to do it on the column like you would in a modern truck. But instead down here, these are your transfer case levers. So all four-wheel drive vehicles from Velocity do retain their four-wheel drive capability, and you control that here. So that's what those are. Now again, because it is a Heritage Series, it does have a shift boot that is also matched in that same leather, and you do get these billet toppers as well for these levers. The handles here, they just look excellent. They're really, really nice, very premium feeling thing. Above that, you have the main instrument cluster, and there's not tons to talk about here, because again, we don't like to ruin the look of the trucks by over modifying them. I don't know, modernizing them. Sometimes you get really big like iPads, and occasionally we're seeing it more and more now. People take new model Chevy interiors, like from like a brand new Silverado or something, and put them in trucks like this. It just doesn't look right. It's just not the right way to do it. So what we try and do is give you the modern technology without ruining the classic aesthetic of the vehicle. I think the guys do an excellent job. You do have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. That's through this touchscreen here. It's an Alpine system. That's also hooked up to the reversing backup camera. So when you go into reverse, automatically the camera will appear there. That is hooked into also a Focal speaker system. I mentioned it in the door panels. You do also have speakers in the kick panels down here, and you have a sub underneath this bench too. So lots of audio ability. The sound system in these vehicles is insane. I talk about it a lot. They're really, really good. Of course, you just hook up with Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay, and away you go. Above that, you have a brand new AC system by the guys at Vintage Air. Again, really simple. 3 controls, one for your fan speed, one for your direction, and one for your temperature. It does cool, so active AC, and it does heat. Above that is the dash pad, again, finished in that same distressed leather. And in some lights, this leather almost has like an orange undertone to it. It's really, really nice. I love it a lot. It's probably my favorite thing on this truck. Looking up, the leather continues into the sun visors, and there's no headliner in this truck because it's a Chevy. It just has a painted roof. So you do see that Seychelles Blue finished throughout the cabin. At the back, you've got a convenience light. You do, of course, have the big rear window as well. Visibility is pretty good in these. Obviously, you don't have like a moon or sunroof above you, so it's a little bit tighter than it might normally be, but that back window really helps get an idea of where you are when you're parking the vehicle. Again, this is slightly shorter than the F-Series product that we offer, so it's a bit more usable, but I'm not going to lie to you, still a big truck, still has a lot of road presence. Let's talk about how this thing handles on the road next and move over to the driveline. Coming around the front of the vehicle then, and let's talk about what makes this thing move. Of course, that's the engine, the gearbox, the transmission, the driveline, all of that good. So we'll start with the engine. This is an LT1, 6.2 litre V8 from GM, a Chevy product as well, of course, but basically a full crate engine from those guys. It's brand new, comes to us with a warranty. It's not been taken out of a vehicle that's been crashed or ever been used before. It's a completely new engine. It produces around 460 horsepower, so lots of speed on this one, both top end and low end, particularly with the LT1. You have quite a good amount of low end torque in comparison to the Ford version, which is like the Coyote, the 5 litre that we put, of course, probably because the Coyote is a 5 litre and this is a 6.2. So just a little bit more poke off the line. And a big truck like this, it does feel really nice, feels confident. You can get away out of intersections nice and fast. This is coupled to the 10L80, which is a 10-speed automatic transmission. If you're building your own, we do offer a 6-speed manual, but most of the time we do them in this configuration. And the same rules apply with the 10L80. It is brand new, crate transmission from the guys at GM. It has not been used before. I particularly like the 10L because it lightning shifts. It's super quick to change gear Really smooth, really easy to use. It almost feels like you don't have a transmission, honestly, because it changes so quickly, especially when you're at speed. It just gets through the gears, and it's really nice. 0 to 60 in this truck's going to be about 5 seconds, maybe slightly less than that, so it is a quick truck, very, very capable. For brakes, you have Wilwood disc brakes all round. You can't see them at the moment, obviously because of the Scottsdales they're blocking, but you do have disc brakes all round, and they are hydro boosted. That's the system just over there, and that just gives you extra stopping power. That helps us control and give the feel of the brake pedal. Doesn't make it squishy, it makes it nice and modular all the way through, so you really have that that brake feel that you would expect in a truck like this with this much power. Of course, they stop very, very quickly. In terms of chassis underneath this vehicle, yes, it's a Velocity, it's a K series truck, and so it has a full Roadster Shop chassis underneath it, 4-link coilover chassis from the guys at RS. If you watch these videos before, you'll have seen me driving these trucks. You can drive them aggressively, you can drive them around corners. Why? Primarily because of that chassis from the guys at Roadster Shop. You can go check out their website too. They're probably now the biggest, and I think they have been for a while, sort of aftermarket classic vehicle chassis manufacturer in the world, and they exclusively partner with us on a number of products just like this one, designed for our vehicles with purpose, right, with intent, so you can drive these vehicles every day. That's the core underpinnings of this vehicle and every Velocity Chevrolet product, well, actually all Velocity products across the whole range. I think that about covers it for the engine bay. Really, really cool setup here. So the Seychelles Blue K10, an absolutely immaculate example of what the guys at Velocity do. I particularly love the interior on this one. I think it came out extravagantly. It feels very luxurious inside. It really does feel incredibly premium. The outside of the vehicle, of course, is finished in excellent detail as well. And this one is available for immediate sale, like we talked about at the start of the video. So you can actually buy this one and drive it away today. It is ready to go home. It does have all of the normal things that you would expect on a Velocity truck, like a 2-year bumper-to-bumper warranty, and you can finance it, and we can transport it to you anywhere in the US, actually anywhere in the world. Even you could have it sent to Seychelles if you wanted to. So you can find all that information on the website. The link will be in the description down below. If you've got any questions, leave a comment. And of course, like always, we'll see you on the next one.